So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about three topics actually. One, audit of NGO, audit of charitable institute, and audit of education institute. So these three questions, these three topics we will be discussing. Now, first of all, what is an NGO and what is a charitable institute? How they are different from each other? Typically speaking, both are used synonymously. Both are used synonymously. Some people call it as charitable institute, some call it as NGO. Technically speaking, both are synonymous to each other. Synonymous. You know, charitable institute is specifically formed with the purpose of serving people, charity. Whereas NGO is not necessarily having a charitable objective. Understand? NGO not necessarily have a charitable objective. Suppose I opened one institution and I wanted to help people. Okay, I want to work for welfare of various persons and I'm helping them directly or indirectly. Charity is there. NGO not necessarily for charity. Example, during COVID time, many pharmaceutical companies have opened few NGOs. What is the objective of that NGO? This NGO will involve in scientific research. Exclusively that NGO will involve in scientific research for development of a vaccine. Getting it? So scientific research institutions and all, they may register as NGO. They themselves register as an NGO. Trade unions, they may register as an NGO. Chamber of Commerce, they may register as an NGO. You see, Chamber of Commerce, like or else rice traders union. These might be registering themselves as an NGO. Are they forming for charitable objective? No, no, no. They are not donating anyone. They are not helping anybody. Nothing. Just they formed as a social organization. Okay. So for benefits of so many people. So NGO may not have a charitable objective, understand. Whereas charitable institute, generally we use that word only if the objective includes charity. Charity means it may be monetary donation or it may be donation in non-monetary way, non-monetary manner, like food donation, orphanages, hospitals. These all may come under which hospitals, by the way? Free treatment. The hospitals where they will give you free treatment or very concessional treatment, like Shankar Netralaya, they all come under charitable institutions. They may classify themselves as charitable institute. Okay, some hospitals, where they are collecting very nominal charges, okay, for treating the patient. Instead of calling themselves as charitable institute, they may call themselves as NGO also, where they collect a nominal fee. They work for they don't work for profit. Simple. Any institution, any entity, the objective is not for profit. They don't work for profit, but they do some business activity. We can straight away call it as NGO. What is a charitable institute? I opened a hospital, example, where I give free treatment to everybody. That's a charitable institute. I may not call it as NGO. See, this is actually interchangeable. There is no dictionary meaning for charitable institute. There is no dictionary meaning for NGO. There is no clear-cut law for NGO, no clear-cut law for charitable institutes. So there are no definitions. Based on common understanding, I'm just giving you what they are. Now, by the way, in India, how an NGO runs, how a charitable institute will have legal identity, how NGO will have a legal identity. They may register in three ways in India. Either they may register as a society under Society Registration Act, or they may register as a trust under Indian Trust Act, or they may register as a Section 8 company. They may either register as a Section 8 company, they may register as a trust, they may register as a society. Generally, if I am involving or if I am doing work for not for profit, or I am doing a charitable work, my organization is for not for profit and for charitable motive. Example, it is always better to incorporate as a company, because company means they will maintain accounts, there will be audit, transparency will be there. If it is a company, there will be a high amount of transparency. compared to trust and society. But there is no compulsion. Is it compulsory that a charitable entity, that a charitable institute must register under company law? Is it compulsory? That's their choice. They may register as a charitable institute under Societies Act. They may register as a charitable trust under, Indian Trust Act, or they may even register under Section 8 Companies Act. That's it. So that's about the basic difference between NGO and a charitable institute. Charitable institute definitely work for charity. They will have so many expenses in the form of donations given, in the form of conducting various activities, okay, all that. Whereas NGO, they may not have any donations given. They will incur expenditure on the objective of the NGO, whatever objective of the NGO. Suppose if the NGO objective is to do a scientific research, so they will do a scientific research, and whatever money they are getting, they will spend it on scientific research. That's enough. They are not donating anybody. They are working for conservation of environment. Okay, all that. That's that. They are all, like example, Blue Cross, Red Cross. Okay, and the PETA, protection of environment. I mean, this is some PETA means it's animal protection related something. PETA organization. Okay, United States, one. So these are all various NGOs. These are all various NGOs. Tata Foundation, Reliance Foundation. These are actually charitable institutes where they are giving free treatment to the poor. Okay, so they are charitable, and all of them may be registered under Section 8 of the Companies Act. That is their choice. So as an auditor, what you will verify whenever you're doing audit of these items? See, generally in all these entities also, they will have some receipts, payments, assets, liabilities, income and expenditure account, or balance sheet. How we do normal audit? First we do risk assessment procedure, then we do control, first we do risk assessment, then we plan the audit. Yes or no? Our standard way of doing audit: plan the audit, then select one particular area, donations received. First to do control procedures, a compliance procedure. So what is the procedure for receiving the donation? What are the controls of that? Then take some sample donations received, check details clearly, substantive procedure we call it as. You can also apply analytical procedures, everything. Okay, conceptually it is same. Now actually, what are the names given? Whenever we are doing audit of NGO, whenever we are doing audit of charitable institute, what is the actual name given? So that we are going to discuss now. So what is an NGO? NGO can be defined as a non-profit making organization. It is not necessarily a charitable objective. It may be a non-profit. It is working for not for profit, which raise funds from members, donors, contributors, and also receive donation of time, energy, skills. Suppose Isha Foundation. Isha Foundation, they don't ask you your donation, they ask your time, they ask your energy, they ask your skill set, volunteers. In Isha Foundation, it is mostly run by volunteers. So there people are giving donation in the form of time. Suppose I'm going there and spending two days. I'm spending my time, energy. That's my donation, non-monetary donation. Okay, for achieving social objectives. NGOs are generally incorporated. How they are incorporated? They are incorporated either under society law or under trust law or under Section 8 company. Anyhow, they may be incorporated. You have to check what is the constitutional status. This is also called as constitutional status. This is also called as constitutional status. Check it out. So what are the points which auditor concentrates when he is doing audit of an NGO? While planning the audit of NGO, the auditor generally looks into the following. What is the NGO work? What are their mission? What are their vision? What are the areas of operation? Suppose you take Isha, it is not a charitable entity, it's an NGO. Isha Foundation, I hope many of you would have heard Isha Foundation, which is there in Coimbatore, Sadhguru. You just type Sadhguru in YouTube, you'll understand Isha Foundation and all that. Isha Foundation is an NGO. Suppose if I'm doing audit of Isha Foundation, if they appointed me as an auditor for Isha Foundation, let us look at what is the constitution of Isha Foundation. Just let's look into it. Let's look into it. So Isha Foundation legal structure. You see here, Isha Foundation is a non-profit spiritual organization founded in 1992. So is it a company or what? That is not given here. So that is not given here. Just let me check their website if available. Yeah, here it is given. Hmm. So here they spoke about the website, all that. So terms and conditions, what are they? Now that's about some activities which they carry out. Mission, we'll see. Oh, we'll see below at least. Is there any share downloads? Huh? No, no, it is about books. So Isha Yoga Center. I just changed my wordings. Isha Foundation legal status. You're not getting the data. But anyhow, you try to find out if at all if it is possible. If it is possible for you. Since nowhere it is mentioned, I don't think it's a company. I think it's a trust probably, or as a society they would have registered under Societies Registration Act probably. Yeah, obviously I think so. I think so. Isha Foundation may not be a company. Is Isha Foundation a Section 8 company? Just I will check. See here. How Sadhguru Isha Foundation awaits paying tax? So here I think some information might be there. Okay. So they got 80G exemption as well. They have got 80G exemption as well. Even if at all PAN number is found, we can figure out. Is it a, in the PAN number, if at all the fourth character is C, it's a company. If the fourth character is not C, okay, then it would have been something else. Okay, anyhow. Okay, so first, as an auditor, while you are planning the audit of NGO, what are the things that you need to focus on? What are the points of concentration? First, understand what is that NGO work. Understand their mission, vision, what are the areas of operation, all that. And depending upon the legal status, obtain the knowledge of relevant statutes. What are the recent amendments and circulars, especially income tax related one? Look at the legal form of the organization. It's MOA, AOA, rules and regulations, or you can also call it as bylaws. Review the NGO organization chart. What is the organization chart? Suppose you take Isha. Sadhguru is the head of the entire organization. Below Sadhguru, there will be some, managing people. Okay, like who will follow Sadhguru instructions, like administration chart, financial and administrative manuals, project and program guidelines. Like Isha Foundation will be carrying out various programs periodically. Yes or no? Inner engineering. There are so many programs which they do. Look at funding agencies requirements. Like many will be funding Isha Foundation, right? What are their requirements? Okay, according to the fund donor requirement only, Isha Foundation will generally work. And budgetary policies, all that. Look at the minutes of the board or managing committee or governing body or management and committees and ascertain what are the decisions taken. And look at the accounting system. What is the accounting procedure they follow? What are the controls they deployed? Okay, and see internal checks that are there and their applicability, all that. So these are the points of concentration. This itself can be asked in the examination. While planning the audit of an NGO, what are the points that auditor should focus on? They may ask you this only B point, which can be asked for 3 marks or 4 marks. You have to write any 4 points here. Next, okay, fine. So while planning, you consider all that points, and then you need to draft your audit program. So what are the points that you will include? The audit program should include, all assets, liabilities, income and expenditure, and so that no important item is omitted. In such way, you should develop your audit program. Whenever you're doing audit of a company, profit making company, profit oriented company or non-profit oriented, first you have to cover all assets, all liabilities, all incomes, all assets, all expenditures. No important, no material item should be omitted. Same way here also. So in NGO, what are the items of incomes and expenditure? What are the items of assets and liabilities? So there are few technical names available. One example is corpus fund. In NGOs and all, there is a word which is popularly used, that is corpus. Even in charitable institute also, this word is very famous, corpus fund. What is the corpus fund? Generally corpus fund is like a reserves and surplus in normal company. In a normal businesses, we call reserves and surplus, right? Same way here also. Tell me, in a normal business, current year, whatever expenses we are incurring, from where we will be incurring these expenses, out of which account we will take the current year? Only out of current year income. Generally, do we disturb our reserves for incurring our day to day? No, we never. Even as a normal household, every month you will be getting income. Only from that income you will be spending. Yes or no? And when do we will disturb our reserves and surplus? When do we will disturb our general reserve? Suppose in the year we do not have proper income, that time we will disturb. Same way, corpus fund will also be used only in an emergency situation, when your income and expenditure do not have surplus, proper enough money, when you did not receive enough donations during the year. In such a case you will incur money from corpus. So the contributions grant received towards the corpus are vouched with reference to letters from donors. Suppose when I'm donating, they will ask me, sir, for what purpose you're donating? If I tell them for inner engineering program, they will credit to inner engineering program, Isha Foundation. I told them, no, corpus fund. Corpus means what? They should not use my money immediately. They should use it only when if it is very emergency. At the time only they will be using. The interest income on the investment of the corpus is checked with investment register and physical investment in hand. Even with respect to corpus donation, whatever donation I gave for corpus, that money they will invest in somewhere. Even on that interest also, that will be credited to corpus only generally. Okay, so we need to check whatever the investments made out of corpus fund, all that. Then vouch means verify, check. Transfers from projects or programs with donors letters and board resolution of NGO. Check transfers and adjustments made during the year. Simply look at the reserves. Important points only we will discuss. Corpus fund is important. Next, another one is earmarked fund. Only important points we will discuss. So here, this question itself can be asked in exam. Write about audit program of an NGO. What are the points that were included as part of audit program of a NGO? They may ask you. This itself can be asked for 4 marks question. While planning the audit, what points you focus? That is the above point. Whereas now part C, it is about audit program. Earmarked funds. Earmarked means for a specific purpose we are giving that donation. Suppose I gave a donation 10,000 only for construction of a building. Only for that purpose they should use my donation. Only so that money whatever I gave, they should keep it in a separate fund. That's called earmarked fund. So check the requirement of donor instructions, for what purpose donor gave, and look at the board resolution. Look at the rules and regulations and the schemes for the earmarked fund. How that earmarked fund, how that specific fund, how that specific reserve fund shall be utilized. Check it out. And loans, general point. As an NGO will also take some loans. So verify the loans with loan agreements and counterfolios issued, and verify fixed assets, all that, and look at the assets held for sale. Look at the depreciation charged. Look at the authorizations for sale. Okay, example, immovable property, you need to check title deeds. See whether the trust is conducting physical verification regularly. All that we need to check. By the way, if it is a section 8 company, is Caro applicable? No. Fine. Next, investments. Again, when do an organization will keep investment? When they have surplus money, when they have idle money. If I have profit, if I have income, if I have huge reserves and I have huge cash balance, okay, why should I keep it idle? If I invest in bank fixed deposit, if I invest in securities, I will get some returns, right? So check investment register and verify physically the investments. Now physically will not be there because most of the investments are in the form of demat. Okay, ensure that investments are in the name of the NGO. Every investment made by NGO shall be in the name of the NGO. Verify further investments. If any additional investments made, disinvestments, any investments sold, is it done with approval by proper competent authority, and the reference in bank account for the principal amount, interest, whatever shall be checked. And physically verify cash in hand and impressed balance at the closure of the year. Auditor has to physically verify. See here, no, what I will 1 3 5 6 5 6 10. So these points are enough. 1 3 5 6 10. These points are enough, ma. These points are enough with respect to audit program of an NGO. Bank balance, look at the bank reconciliation statement, okay, and see what amounts outstanding in BRS, all that. Inventory in hand, if the NGO is having some inventory, okay, stores, we call it, in fact it is not right to use the word inventory, it is actually stores. NGO will maintain some stores, no, all that, stationery, loose tools, all that. Verify inventory in hand and get a certificate from the management for quantity and valuation of the same. And verify agreement with the donor supporting the particular program or project to identify, to ascertain the conditions with respect to undertaking the program or project. So whenever this NGO is incurring expenditure on a program, so they spent some 10 lakhs on a particular program. For that program, they spent 10 lakhs. How did, from where the 10 lakhs is spent? Sir, we got donation for that program. Okay, look at the donor agreements, all that. Check it out. Establishment expenses, look at provident fund, life insurance, administrative charges, all these are deducted and deposited with prescribed authority. Also check the other office and administrative expenses such as traveling, all that, regular operating expenses. Establishment expenses is also called as operating expenses, and statutory dues, all that. That's it. So then in exam they may ask you about exclusively how do you audit receipts of NGO. An NGO will have how many types of receipts? NGO will have main type of receipt is contribution and grant. Another type of receipt is membership. Another type of receipt is subscriptions. Another type of receipt is interest and dividend. Example, subscription means, suppose you take Isha Foundation. I subscribed for inner engineering classes. Example. So that's a subscription money. I subscribed for Isha newsletter. I paid some 1,000 rupees. Every year I will pay that. Example. Every month they will send me some newsletter, updates, Sadhguru speeches, all that. So that is called subscription money. Like Amazon Prime, you are subscribing. No, that is called subscription money. Understand? Membership fee. What is membership fee? I register as a member in Isha Foundation, lifetime member. So that I will get some benefits. So that is called membership fee. Or I may give donation to Isha Foundation. Okay. Like they did some activity called Kaveri calling something in 2019-20, like that. Okay, where they are protecting rivers of the India. So they are campaigning a very big program. For that they are asking donations. So I gave some donation, example. So that is called as contribution and grant. So NGO will have either contribution and grant income, or they may have membership fee income, or they may have subscription income, or from investments they'll be getting interest and dividend, no, that income. Now you see, contributions and grants. We should check that all grant donations, all contributions should be checked with reference to agreement with the donor, grant letter, bank statement, all that. If it is a government grant letter will be there. Additionally, foreign donations received from foreign countries received should be checked to ensure that all these are received as per RBI guidelines and they are deposited in FCRA, foreign contribution bank account, as notified under FCRA Act. Whenever you are receiving any donations from foreign, you have to maintain a separate bank account as per FCRA regulation. You will understand this in CA final company law. Then you need to check controls also with respect to ascertain the persons who are responsible for collection of donations. What is the mode of receipt of donations? So today the NGOs are receiving only by non-cash. They are receiving by banking channel only. They are not receiving donations in the form of cash. Maybe in the NGO they will maintain a hundi where you can drop cash. Except that donations are not accepted in cash. Ensure that they are properly accounted. All collections are accounted and they are deposited daily in bank if at all collection is in cash. Then membership fee. check the membership register and see whether there is a classification made between entrance fee and annual fee. Annual fee is income. Entrance fee is generally credited to corpus again. Entrance fee is credited to corpus. Annual fee is used for annual purposes, all that. Lifetime membership fee, all that. And reconcile fees received with whatever the fees received. Last year how much fee received, this year how much is received. So why some renewals have not happened? Is it not happened or amount received but not accounted? Subscriptions. Check receipts issued with the subscription register and what is the rate? What is the subscription rate? Newsletter so and so category, what is the rate? 1000 per annum. Another category 500 per annum, all that. Reconcile subscription received with the printing and dispatch of corresponding magazine, circular or periodical. Suppose if the subscription is in the form of electronic videos, look at the video register, video access grant register, all that. Interest and dividend income. And in January 2021, they asked, write about audit of at least 4 receipts of income of NGO. You just have to write about part D, audit of receipts of NGO, which is for 4 marks. See, anyway they can ask. Now here they are asking draft audit program for audit of receipts of donations and remittances collected. Again here, though the word used is audit program, but actually they are asking about receipts. Again the answer is D point only. D point only. Next, just a minute. Yes, next, third question. You know, audit of collection of donations for Kerala flood victims. Some name they will give, but it is donations collection. So first point in the D, 1 and 2 points are enough actually. 1 and 2 points are enough. That's enough actually. See, the reference point I only gave just for understanding. You pick out what is suitable. Then you have been appointed as auditor of NGO. Briefly state points of which you concentrate while planning. So they are asking especially point B, I think, not A and D. It's actually point B, points of concentration by auditor. Here the reference is wrong. It's actually point B, entire point B they are asking. That's it. So in this way, you know, NGO audit has to be conducted. You know, listening to my class will not fetch you anything. Just that I'm giving little practical examples. That's it. I told right at the beginning itself, this chapter and the next chapter, items of financial statements together, the weightage will be 15 to 20 marks. But just because they're having higher weightage, don't think they're tough. They're actually to be studied on your own. On your own. Only if you study on your own, only if you depend on your own, you will easily answer. If you depend on anybody else, including me, I'm telling you, there is no point. That you're absolutely wasting your time. Just listen to these lectures only for understanding in a practical scenario. That's it. But it is you who has to read again and again. And don't follow any chart books. Don't follow any mugging up approach and all. Don't follow all that. Sincerely prepare as it is. Okay. And write in exam so that the meaning will not change. Next. The next question is audit of charitable institutions. So again here also similar to NGO, first we will study the constitution under which the charitable institute has been set up. Is it a society or is it a company limited by guarantee or is it a trust or is it a section 8 company? Verify whether the institution is being managed in compliance with law. How the institution is managed? Is it managed by complying with laws and regulations? And here also subscriptions and donation is the income. Look at the auditor shall obtain receipt book covering the period under review. Means nothing. Suppose you are doing audit of 2021, check 2021 receipts book and whether controls are imposed over unused receipt book. Nowadays completely receipt books are not maintained. No, nowadays no receipt book, nothing, electronic everything. Obtain the receipts, receipts bank statement or receipts book, something like that. You know, whatever the total collection shown in the accounts, what is the total collection shown in this second point is regarding compare accounts versus receipt book. Compare accounts versus receipt book. Obtaining the and agreeing them means nothing but actually it's a continuation. Okay, with the total collection shown in the accounts with reference to acknowledgement receipt, how the entry is made in the cash book. So whether subscriptions, donations, you know, that list you take, any figures published in the reports etc. issued by charitable institute. Suppose they are releasing magazines, in the magazine somewhere in the end they are printing how much subscriptions we collected, all that. Cross verify with that other information. Look at the controls over collection. Who are collecting? Who is having authority to collect? Are they collecting through cash? Are they collecting through banking channel? How? And ensure that all collections have been fully accounted and deposited in the bank regularly. If at all it is collected in cash, they have to be deposited on the very next day immediately. And check if any changes are made in amount of annual or life membership subscription during the year. See, if the subscription fees is revised, see that after date of revision, whatever amount is collected, it is as per the revised limit. Legacies and grant. Verify any government or local authority grant. Suppose if any grant has been received from government, check that. Check the relevant papers of the grant and see that any expenditure is disallowed for the purpose of grant. Ascertain the reasons and compliance thereof. Suppose government gave you some 10 crores donation, you spent some 2 crore. Out of 2 crore, 10 lakhs you spent for some other purpose not permitted by government. Okay, that 10 lakhs government will waive. I mean, government will take back. Okay, government will cancel the grant. See, generally, government will give, the moment government announce one grant for a charitable institute, they don't give it immediately. Okay, they distribute in piecemeal. First they'll give 1 crore, again they'll give 1 crore. After spending that 1 crore, the institute has to give audited, audit of expenses report. They need to give. In that audit report, auditor will highlight some 10 lakhs is spent for unauthorized. In the next installment, I should pay 1 crore. No, I will give 90 lakhs only. Not 10 lakhs. I will disallow. Disallow means not income tax disallowance. Understand? And vouch amount received with correspondence means nothing but communication from donor, receipts, minute books, all that. Again, investment income. Same point, investment income. Amount received, counterfolios of dividend, demat account, interest income. Look at the schedule of investments, all that. Inspect the securities physically. General point. Check that appropriate dividend has been received subsequently where any investment has been sold ex dividend or purchased come dividend. Rent. Suppose if the charitable institute is giving some properties on hire, let out, rent. Look at the register of rents and register of properties. Look at the rental agreements to verify that amount of rents and due dates, all that. Look at the amount received with reference to rent register and see the receipts issued and entries made in cash book. And suppose if the charitable institute has carried any special function or event or program or project, verify the gross receipts and outgoings in respect of any special event, okay, held in the aid of charity with such vouchers. In particular, verify the proceeds of tickets sold, whether they are accounted for after making allowances for ticket returns, cancellations, all that. And charitable institutes are exempted from income tax. But sometimes, when the charitable institute is receiving rent, the other party might have deducted TDS. But for you, tax is not payable. But the other party deducted TDS and gave you only net rent income, net rent. So you filed income tax return and claimed the refund. So confirm that refund of taxes deducted from the income of the investment, especially has it been claimed and recovered, since institutions are generally exempted under 80G. And expenditure. Vouching payment of grant. Verify that grant have been paid only for a charitable purpose. Whatever grant, whatever donation you received, you should apply it only for charitable purpose or purpose that fall within the purview of the objectives for which a charitable institute has been set up. No trustee, no director, no member shall benefit either directly or indirectly. None of the managing committee people should benefit from the trust. Verify schedule of securities. Look at the register of securities held, inventories, properties, movable, immovable, and inspect the security, title deeds of the property, all that on a test check basis. And verify cash and bank balances, bank confirmation letters, all that. And check any funds contributed for special purpose have been utilized for that purpose. Sometimes charitable institute will get special purpose donation. Whatever donation we got for special purpose, it must be used only for that purpose. Once we understood thoroughly NGO, charitable institution question is very simple, you see. Most of the points are repetitive in nature. And even in education institute also, many points will be repetitive. Okay, so now without any delay, let's discuss about audit of education institutes. Let's discuss about audit of education institutes. Even, see, education institutes are two categories. Okay, education institutes are two categories. Some institutes are like private tuition education institutes, commercial coaching institutes we call it as. or education institutes that are providing qualification recognized under law. Example, all CA coaching institutes exclusively engaged in teaching CA foundation, CA into CA final. They are commercial training, commercial coaching institutes. Those who are dealing in 11th standard, 12th standard, up to 10th standard, degree, UG, PG, all that. These are all education institutes recognized under law. And these institutes, second category, they will register generally as an NGO. They will register either as a charitable institution. Whereas first one, they will register as a private company, or they may be sole proprietary, or they may register as a firm, or they may register as an LLP. So we are not discussing specifically from one particular institute point of view. We are discussing how to do audit of generally education institute. Tell me, for education institutes, what are the incomes? One is collections from fees collections. Another one, hostel receipts. Another one, canteen. Imagine about engineering college, canteen. Another income, parking. Another income, special events organized by institute, they'll collect some special charges. Another income, excursions. Another income, scientific lab, lab related fees, all that, some special fees. Another income, material sales related fee. So many incomes are there for education institutes. How to do audit of the education institute? First, basically verify the trust deed or regulations in case of school, college, okay, all that. And in case of university, under which act this university has been formed, regulations, all that, check it out. Read through the minutes of the meetings of managing committee or directors, governing body, and note resolutions affecting accounts to see that they have been complied. Specifically, decisions regarding bank accounts, expenditure approvals, expenditure, who can incur, all that. Specifically, you need to focus all this. Now, how to do audit of fee receipts? This is important question. How to do audit of fee receipts? How we do audit of fee receipts generally, if at all, suppose I was appointed as an auditor for one education institute, first I will identify what are the courses they deal. And then I will ask management what is the fees that you will charge for each category of course. Then I will ask management how a student join into the course, admission forms. Then I will check what is the fees fixed for that admission. Then I will check how much student paid. Then I will check how much student has to pay. Now I will also check whether a student is permitted to enter class without payment of fee. If there is such a kind of incident, is it a free admission? Who gave free admission? Who is having that authority, power to give a free admission? All this way you need to think. See that. Check names entered in student fee register for each month or tenure term with the respective class register showing names of students on roll numbers and test amount of fees charged. What is the fees charged? What is the fees as per the price list, MRP list? Check it out. Check fees received by comparing counterfolios of receipts granted and entries in the cash book, and trace the collections in fee register to confirm that revenue from this source has been fully accounted. Total up various columns. Today totaling all that not required, but today it is completely electronic. This answer is there in the ICI study material only, but this answer is suitable 20 years ago. Now the answer should be changed, but still institute have not changed the answer. Totaling up registers, that and all not there. Now today completely automatic. Total up various columns of fee register for each month or term to check fees paid in advance has been carried forwarded, and arrears whatever is there irrecoverable, they were written off. And if there is an admission fee, donations, getting it, okay, if there is an admission fee with admission slips, is it signed by head of the institute and confirm that amount has been credited to capital account or corpus, unless managing committee has taken a decision which is contrary, nothing but which is different. Okay, they decided admission fee, we should use it for so and so park construction, so and so ground construction, something. See that free studentship, any concessions were granted only by authorized person as per the rules of the education institute. Verify there is a system of internal check which ensures that demand against students are properly raised. If there is any outstanding due, there is a control that outstanding dues are collected. Confirm that fine for late payment, absentees, okay, have been collected and remitted under proper authority. They have been collected and accounted properly. And if it is hostel due, are they recovered before students' accounts were closed, and their deposit of caution money shall be caution deposits, all that shall be refunded. Report any old heavy arrears on account of fees, dormitory rent, etc. to the managing committee. So reports. Confirm caution money, nothing but caution deposit, and other deposits paid with the student on admissions have been shown as a liability, yes or no, and in the balance sheet, and not transferred to revenue. In these, no, you, especially in exam point of view, point number one, point number 3, 4, 5 and 8, 10. So whatever I rounded, these you note down. 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10. These are good. These points are good. Next, coming to Education Institute might receive legacies, grant and donation, same like Charitable Institute, copy paste only here. Investment income, same like Charitable Institute, copy paste only. Assets and liabilities. Assets and liabilities. This I will explain. So Education Institute, auditor has to report any old heavy arrears on account of fees, dormitory rent to the managing committee. So we have to report any heavy outstanding arrears. Confirm that caution money has been shown as a liability in the balance sheet. We have to check, and it shall not be transferred to revenue unless they are not refundable. Non-refundable deposits, we can recognize it as an income. Investments representing endowment funds for prizes are kept in a separate, and any income in excess of prizes has been accumulated, invested along with that point is not required. That point is not required. Ascertain system ordering inspection on receipt and issue of provisions, foodstuff, clothing and other equipment is efficient, and all bills are duly authorized and passed, like foodstuff purchase, clothing purchase, dormitory items, whatever the education institute is purchasing, controls over expenditure. You can simply call it as auditor has to check controls over expenditure and current assets. You can also call them as current assets. Verify the furniture, stationery, clothing, provision and all equipment. These should be checked with reference to stock register, inventory register, or correspondence inventories of the previous year. Do analytical procedure. Last year how many were there? This year how many were there? Okay, that's it. This value applied to previous items, that is not required. Rent. So the education institute might have some premises which they are giving for canteens, all that. So rental income from canteen, all that. Check it out. And for the education institute, we need to check refund of taxes, because for many education institutes which are not commercial training institutes, they will register under 80G of the income tax law. They will get refund of whatever taxes they already paid. So, and verify annual statements of account. Okay, separate statement of accounts have been prepared regarding poor boys fund, games fund, hostel and provident fund of staff, all that, any separate funds, whatever is there to verify. And again, H, expenditure, fees collection point, that is important. Expenditure point, this is also important. Remaining are not that important. And the same way, whatever capital expenditure education institute is spending, example, they're buying projectors, they're buying computers. Okay, so verify the capital expenditure, and is it sanctioned from proper authorization. Look at the minutes book, committee meeting book, all that. Verify in usual manner all establishment expenses like for salaries to staff, okay, operating expenses, cleaning expenses, all that, and see is there any unduly heavy expenditure under any particular head. If there is any heavy expenditure which is not usual, check it out. Increase in salaries has been sanctioned, increments whatever is there, check properly. And verify system ordering inspection on receipts and issue of provisions, foodstuff, clothing. So how these will be distributed to the student, foodstuff and all. What is the procedure? What is the control? Check it out. So this again repeated. Again this is also repeated. So all these points, multiple times they came. Assets and liabilities point only here also repeated. So this is again assets and liability we already covered. Assets and liability item we already covered. So in July 21, they have been asked this question. Discuss the points which merit your consideration as an auditor while verifying assets and liabilities of a VJM school. So they're asking exclusively on audit of assets and liabilities 1, 2, 4, 5. These 4 points are enough. This is for 4 marks question. National College, an institution managed by trust, received a grant of 2.4 crore from government nodal agencies for funding a project of research on rural health system in India. Draft an audit program for auditing this fund. This is completely out of box question which is asked in May 2017 under old scheme students. So first look at the basic documents of the grant received and any other related documents. Okay, and look at the bank statement and what is the budget and what is the utilization of the grant. Capital expenses out of the grant, if at all, it shall be accounted. All revenue expenditure on that said project shall be verified with the bills. All expenses on the project shall not be accounted in regular income statement because this is exclusively a separate project. For that project we have to, okay, in balance sheet the fund shall be shown separately because this is a separate grant, special grant received from government. That's it. So please read once again this question, these three questions. In this video I covered NGO, charitable institute and education institute. Please read these three questions once again, single. Before you proceed to the next video, just give a single reading. That's enough. That's enough. So in our next session I will discuss about hospitals and club and cinema hall. All these three I will cover in the next session. Okay, hotel and last two, leasing company and hire purchase company audit, I will cover in the that next sessions. That's it. That's it. Actually these are very easy topics which a student has to read on his own. Remaining topics are very tough, like sampling topic, evidence topic, all this. But you know, for me handling those topics are very easy. Handling this topic only very tough because very dry, according to me. This one is very dry topic. Moreover, we have to discuss, even suppose the movie theater, suppose audit of cinema halls we will be discussing. They'll be asking about printed tickets, counter folios, so different categories of tickets, that and all in olden days. Now there is no such thing. Now in most of the cinema theaters it's all electronic tickets mostly. No physical tickets, no. In cinema theaters physical means that is also electronic printed version only. No manual numbering and all, yes or no? But anyhow, we have to read in the same old style for getting marks in, you know, on this chapter. For getting marks in this chapter, we have to read in the same old style. So in the next video, we'll discuss about hospital, club, you know, movie industry, I mean, cinema theater, all that. Carry on.